This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Joining us today is Paul Johnson from Power Metal Resources. Well, Paul, very sorry to hear the news today that you'll be stepping down as CEO, but I can see that you have a strategic plan in place for the future of POW. Can you first of all tell me how the selection for the new CEO, Sean Wade, came about?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, life's events sometimes take us over, and we've got to deal with various things. So, of course, Power Metal has been, 4 years of intense effort, and it's been an amazing process to build this fantastic business. Good CEOs are hard to come by, and fortuitously, I've known Sean for some time. He's been working with us on one of the spin-out propositions, uranium energy exploration. And in simple terms, he just has the right mix of skills, capability, knowledge, connectivity that will make, I think, a massive difference in the company.
Okay, well, let's elaborate on that if you can. What does make Sean the right person to take the reins of Power Metal Resources at this stage?
Yeah. Well, I've had a little bit of time to think, in some detail about this. We just completed the audit of the company, and that gets you to sit back and take a view of this business. And we have built a huge portfolio of highly important, highly strategic assets. And there comes a point in the company's life when it shifts from being a kind of dogfight junior, as it were, as many of them are on the markets today, to being a real mid-tier potential business, where if you have the right assets in place, but you also need the right management team with the energy, availability and capability to drive a business forward. And I think that Sean ticks all those boxes. He has some incredible ideas, some incredible contacts, a Rolodex, as we used to say, that's quite immense, that can draw in interest into our projects, into our investments, into the company itself, and make a real difference going forward. I certainly think the platform is there with the business for him to do that. I have a great deal of confidence in what we've been able to build as a team, an incredible team across Power Metal over the last few years.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Now, importantly, the RNS did mention that you will still be involved with POW. Can you explain a bit more about this? Like, what will you be doing? What will your role be?
Well, it's I'm certainly not passenger seat driver. That's not my mentality in that sense. And Sean is his own person who wants to get on with things with a great deal of enthusiasm. But I know a lot about the business, the contacts in the field, the various corporate partners that we have. I know a lot about the potential of various elements, and I want to work with the company going forward. Less time, perhaps, than I've spent so far because of the need for me to concentrate on some personal things as well. But I will help out in any way I can, and I think we've got a number of interests that have tremendous value, and I can help contribute to that. So I'm there for this business, for Sean, for the rest of the team, as and when they need me. And it will be great to stay part of this story as we push forward.
Okay, well, we are also joined by Sean, who is here today with us. So hello, Sean, welcome. First time we're speaking here on Stockbox. I mean, just first of all, investors may have heard from you from uranium energy exploration and perhaps some other mining juniors you have been associated with. But could you give us a brief summary about your background and what makes you the right person for this new role as CEO of Power Metal Resources?
Hi, Mark, and thanks very much for having me on. I think, first of all, I'd like to just pay tribute to Paul and the tremendous job he's done for shareholders of Power Metal. And on behalf of the board, all of the team here in Fairbairn, I'm sure all of the shareholders, we send him and his family all our very best wishes. In terms of my background, I started nearly 30 years ago in capital markets, first at Cazenove and then at Liberum. And a lot of that time was working with mining companies and helping them raise capital from institutional investors. About 10 years ago, I moved into investor relations and corporate business development, both in executive roles, but also as a consultant to mining companies. And I think so over that period, I think I've built a pretty good network and hopefully a good sense of how mining companies add value to their shareholders and what investors are looking for in junior mining companies.
Okay, so what's going to be your number one priority in your new role here?
Well, I think that's very simple. It's really building on the model and the portfolio that Paul has put in place and helping to unlock the inherent value that exists in the business and delivering that value to shareholders.
Okay. Of course, with Power being such a diverse business with multiple projects all around the world and all at different stages, it can at times, I think, get a little bit confusing or hard to keep track of Power's complex business model. Could you perhaps summarize the Power proposition that you feel is going to be the strategic focus for the business?
Yes, that's three things. First of all, the IPO process that, as you know, is well on track. So we're starting with golden metal resources, following with first development resources. We also have uranium energy exploration, or UEE, in the pipeline, and that's already well advanced. And after that, we'll start talking about New Ballarat Gold. So the IPO spin-out program is the first thing. Secondly, to continue building on our substantial uranium business. As you know, we've got 16 properties in and around the Athabasca Basin in Canada. We're looking to build on that both in Canada and also elsewhere in the world. And then thirdly is delivering on our Botswana exploration opportunities. And I know shareholders are very interested in the progress there, particularly at Malopo and Tati. So we hope to have some news on those very soon.
Okay, excellent. Well, I look forward to talking to you about all of those operations as and when appropriate. Just a final question for you, Sean. Power, of course, have already got an established operational team with activities going on. Will you be continuing to work with the same team, keeping the status quo almost?
Absolutely. I mean, we've got a first-class team, both here in Farnborough at the corporate headquarters, but also on the ground across our assets. So I very much look forward to working with all of the team as we seek to deliver value to our shareholders.
Excellent. Well, I'll just bring Paul Johnson back in there. Thank you both very much for joining us today. Thank you very much, Sean, for giving us an introduction. I'm sure I'll be talking lots more to you in the future as operations progress with Power. And Paul, well, just a final word. I've enjoyed following the story with you at the helm of Power. It's been a pleasure interviewing you over the years. I wish you all the best in the future. I'm sure we'll stay in touch. But for now, both of you, Paul Johnson and Sean Wade, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.